Second parasha, destruction of the world. How do you teach destruction of the world in a nice way? Oh yeah, they were really nice people. They didn't mean to sin, so Hashem killed all of them. That is turning Hashem into a monster. No, what we say in the Torah, they were Reshaim. David HaMelech said, Darkheiha Darkhei Noam, implying that Hashem's intention in giving the Torah is that it should be promulgated among others with sweetness and kindness, and to bring them close to Hashem. How do you reconcile with this, your more aggressive approach, which is very, very recent in Chazal, an outlook we have never seen in the Torah world? Well, I'm sorry to tell you that you're not familiar with David HaMelech, nor are you familiar with Chazal, nor are you familiar with the Torah if you're saying such a thing. Why? And we'll finish this off with this question. As far as Darkeiha Darkhei Noam, it means that you're going to help people as a result of teaching the Torah in a way that is going to be soothing, full of truth, full of intention for the benefit of others, not pacifying people, not trying to get something out of people, but rather for the sake of helping other people. And every person needs to be taught in a certain way. Sometimes there's a person that needs to be taught in a way where you're trying to inspire him to do things by giving him stories of inspiration. Sometimes you have to inspire him by giving him hope. Sometimes you have to inspire him by giving him fear. Sometimes you have to inspire him by giving him love. Different inspiration at different times. That's what Darkeiha Darkhei Noam, meaning that you're always going to have the primary intention of helping people be inspired. Now, as far as saying that you only can inspire people by saying that they're all good and they're all righteous and they're all wonderful no matter what they do, this is not the way of Torah. This is not the way of David HaMelech. This is not the way of Chazal. And anyone that says so is simply clueless. With all due respect to you, that you are unfortunately been misteaching or mistaught, but I can prove it to you. Number one, when you first start learning Torah, what's the first parasha? Parashat Bereshit. Parashat Bereshit tells us that Adam HaRishon got everything you could possibly imagine, but he still sinned and he got punished. He got punished. He got kicked out of the Gan Eden, right? And at that time that he got kicked out of Gan Eden, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm going to keep him out of Gan Eden. How I'm going to keep him out of Gan Eden? I'm going to put the Chuvim, the cherubs, at the Gan Eden. But yet, these same cherubs we learn about in this week's parasha. So we learn about the cherubs in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 24, that they are destructive angels. If Adam HaRishon or anybody comes close to Gan Eden, they'll be killed right away. But we also learn about the cherubs in this week's parasha, where there's these beautiful baby-looking things that are angels that are able to move, that look at Am Yisrael once a year when they open the parochet and of the Kodesh Kodashim, Gemara Masechet Yoma. All of Am Yisrael looks at it. If the angels of the Kiruvim are looking at them, that's favorable. If they're looking away, it's unfavorable. In so many words, the same cherubs are cute little babies, but are an indication of where we stand. We also said they're destructive angels. Why? Because this and this is needed. That's why the second parasha, after we go into this whole thing of first parasha, second parasha, destruction of the world. How do you teach destruction of the world in a nice way? Oh yeah, they were really nice people. They didn't mean to sin, so Hashem killed all of them. That is turning Hashem into a monster. No, what we say in the Torah, they were Reshaim. There was Hamas. There were Hamas, not just like the nation, the people of Hamas today, but Hamas in those times. People that were stealing, people that were committing homosexuality, people that were committing all types of immorality. That's why Hashem destroyed them. Fast forward, Sodom and Gomorrah, time of Avraham Avinu. What were they? Sodom and Gomorrah, destroyed. What do you teach them? No, Sodom and Gomorrah, they didn't mean to. They meant well. Hashem loves them. No, he hated them. That's why he destroyed them. Fast forward, Egypt. Egypt killed us every single day. 150 babies in the morning, 150 babies at night. Would Hashem love them? No, He hated them. That's why He destroyed them. All of the wicked people from the time of Noah reincarnated into Sodom, reincarnated into Egypt. Hashem hated all of them. And in fact, He also punished all of the Jews that didn't want to accept the Torah, and He killed over 80% of the Jews in Egypt. They never made it to Mount Sinai. So what do you tell them? Oh no, they didn't mean to. Hashem loves everybody. No, He punished them by killing them because they didn't want to accept the Torah. So what we see here is that Hashem is constantly killing who He calls His enemies, which includes Jews. We also hear in the Torah that Hashem says in this week's parasha, a Jew that violates Shabbat gets death penalty. So what are you going to say? Oh, you know, if you drive on Shabbat, Hashem loves you anyway, it's okay. No, He doesn't. He said He'll kill you. Yeah, but He didn't really mean it. Oh, so Hashem is a liar? No, He said it, He's going to do it. Same thing if you look at Parashat Bechukotai, where Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us a series of 4 curses that happen to people that go against the Torah. 4 curses. And if that's not enough, you go to Parashat Ki Tavo, where you have 8 curses. 8 curses, almost 100 curses for people that do not observe Shabbat, people that waste seed, people that go against God in the mitzvot. They don't follow the Torah. What did Hashem lie? He changed the Torah. He meant it over there, but He didn't mean over here. No, Hashem wants you to know there's reward and punishment. That's why, if you look at the Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvot, mitzvah number 3. Rambam. You know Rambam? You know more than the Rambam? Your rabbi know more than the Rambam? No. Okay, I don't know more than the Rambam either. Rambam knows more than all of us, right? So let's see what does the Rambam say. It's mitzvah number 3 is to love Hashem. Mitzvah number 3 is to love Hashem. Now you would think, to love Hashem, that's proving my point. No. Mitzvah number 3 is to love Hashem. That means removing our own desires, reflect on ourselves to do tshuva. So how does this teach fear? It doesn't teach fear. You go to mitzvah number 4 for that. Mitzvah number 4 says, להאמין יראתו יתעלה ולהיפחד ממנו, ולא יהיה ככופרים ההולכים בקרי, אבל נראה ביד עונשו בכל עת. והוא אמרו יתעלה את השם אלוהיך תירא. 4th commandment, 4th mitzvah, Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvot. The 4th positive commandment is that which He has commanded us to believe in awe-inspiring nature of the Exalted One and to fear Him. This includes not to be like the heretics who do as they wish without regard for the consequences of their actions, but rather to fear, to bless one's punishment at any moment. This is what the exalted God said in the Torah, fear the Lord your God. This is in verse Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 13. Easy to remember, 6:13. And therefore, conclusion is, fearing Hashem is a positive commandment. In so many words, the Rambam is explaining why fearing Hashem is a commandment and not just a suggestion or as something that you can choose to do or not to do. In so many words, the Rambam is giving the details of why every one of the mitzvot is what it is. Point being is that there is multiple mitzvot in the Torah that are to fear Hashem. And not just fear is awe, but fear punishment, fear mamash, Gehinnom. That's what the Baal Shem Tov and his Talmidim, Rabbi Elimelech Milezhinsk, Rabbi Zusha, and many other Chachamim that followed Hasidut taught that fearing a Kadosh Baruch Hu is not just fearing His awe and His majesty, but to actually fear Gehinnom, to actually fear punishment. Now, if a person looks at the 5 books of Moses, they'll quickly see that this is clear, as Hashem shows punishment in every single parasha in the Torah. He talks about punishment. So if He didn't want you to be afraid of Him, why is He mentioning punishment? That's why at Mount Sinai, when Am Yisrael was afraid to continue hearing God's voice, Moshe Rabbeinu tells Am Yisrael, Hashem is scaring you so you don't sin. Meaning, Hashem is intentionally scaring you so you don't sin. The Gemara in Masechet Brachot says, why is there thunder? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create thunder? To create lightning, you could rationalize it in a million ways. But to create thunder just makes a bunch of noise. Why create thunder? Gemara says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created thunder in order to straighten out our hearts. Meaning, in order to scare us and realize that we are under the control of God. And if we continue going against God, He'll punish us. Furthermore, if you say that the Torah says that no punishment, or it should be only lovey-dovey, you have to wipe out every parasha in the Torah. Now if you say that David HaMelech, also lovey-dovey Torah and only everybody is righteous, then explain to me the toiling that every Jew reads, not only every day, but specifically every Wednesday, where the toiling starts, El Nekamot Hashem, El Nekamot Ofia. What is El Nekamot Hashem, El Nekamot Ofia? God is the God of vengeance. The God of vengeance has arrived. This toiling that David HaMelech wrote talks about the wrath of God and the punishment that He gives the wicked. So you have said Lashon Hara against David HaMelech. The sages in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat, page 54, 55, 56, talk about the different horrendous punishments that Jews get for not rebuking the public, for not rebuking their fellow Jews. To the extent that they say that the reason why Kadosh Baruch Hu destroyed the Beit HaMikdash is because the Jews were not rebuking. Gemara, Masechet Chagiga, page 12, says that Jeremiah the prophet asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu not to destroy the Beit HaMikdash. HaKadosh Baruch Hu that spoke to Jeremiah, because he was a prophet, says to him, if you could go and find me one synagogue where the rabbi is speaking and rebuking his people, I won't destroy the Beit HaMikdash. Jeremiah went from Keilah to Keilah, from place to place, to find at least one rabbi that's rebuking the people. He couldn't find one. And he cried to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, said, I can't find one. Hashem says, then the decree is final, I'm destroying the Beit HaMikdash. And then Jeremiah cried in Sefer Eicha that he wrote. And we say this in our prayers on Mondays and Thursdays. Anshe Emunah Avadu. There's no more men of faith. What's Anshe Emunah Avadu? It's not people that don't have Emunah in Hashem that's going to help them. No. People that have faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His Emet and His Torah that are going to stand up for it and teach people the truth. So you spoke and said the sages don't teach it. Now you're going to say, oh, Aharon HaKohen. Aharon HaKohen loved everybody. Mishnah, Masechet Avot, says in the name of Aharon HaKohen, Aharon Ohev Shalom, Rodef Shalom, he loves peace, he chases peace, umekarvam la Torah, and he brings people to the Torah. What does it mean brings people to the Torah? He loves peace, he chases peace, but he brings people up to the Torah. He doesn't bring the Torah down to them. To say that you're not allowed to teach people about reward and punishment is in essence speaking against Aharon HaKohen. Moshe Rabbeinu, Gemara, Masechet Megillah. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to continue living. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no, I have to take your neshama. Tana Devei Eliyahu talks about it, and also Avot Rabbi Natan talks about the dialogue between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe Rabbeinu, where Moshe Rabbeinu has perfected his body to the extent that it was on the same level as neshama. Avot Rabbi Natan says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to convince Moshe Rabbeinu to leave this world. Convince him. Like a husband convinced a wife convinced a husband. But after he convinced him, he took his neshama out. The Gemara Masechet Megillah says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu cried, and he says, who's going to rebuke my people like Moshe Rabbeinu? Who's going to yell at my people and tell them to do tshuva? Who? Who's going to do it? Zohar Kadosh brings Yeshua ben Nun. Yeshua ben Nun yelled at Am Yisrael, why are you going against Hashem? Scared them, said you're going to go to Gehinnom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to Yeshua ben Nun. Yeshua ben Nun was a prophet after Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeshua, why are you scaring my people? Yeshua ben Nun says to Hashem, you know, I didn't scare them for the sake of my honor or the honor of my father. I scared them for your honor, so they don't go against the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Zohar Kadosh says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu kissed the hands of Yeshua ben Nun. Thank you for scaring my people, because your intention was to help them do tshuva. Thank you. So now, you have Avraham Avinu, Zohar Kadosh, Parashat Re'eh, says people used to come to Avraham Avinu. Everybody knows Avraham Avinu had openings, 4 corners, guests. He wanted to convince them to abandon idolatry. Give him food. That's what everybody knows. What everybody doesn't know, Zohar Kadosh says, Parashat Re'eh. How did Avraham Avinu convince him to do tshuva? How? What do you tell him? Hashem's going to give you a reward? He likes you? He'll give you money? No. Avraham Avinu would teach them about Gehinnom. If you continue with the idol worship, you'll be in this chamber. If you continue with the prostitute, you'll be in that chamber. If you continue doing this, you'll be in that chamber. He would tell them the details of Gehinnom. Avraham Avinu made millions of people do tshuva by teaching about Gehinnom. Moshe Rabbeinu left Egypt. Between leaving Egypt, getting to Mount Sinai, 50 days. What do you do for 50 days? Zohar Kadosh says, Moshe Rabbeinu taught them Torah. What Torah did he teach them? Didn't get Torah yet. Moshe Rabbeinu taught them about Gehinnom. Told them, you continue sinning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put you in different chambers in Gehinnom. Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. Last Perek, believe it's page 154b. Says, person that goes against the Kadosh Baruch Hu can learn from David HaMelech. Why? David HaMelech said in the book of Shmuel, Sefer Shmuel, that if certain people go against Hashem, they go to Kaf Hakela. What's Kaf Hakela? That's when somebody's so bad, they don't even have the merit to go to Gehinnom. They go to Kaf Hakela for an extra sentence over there. The Arizal says, could be 1,000 years, could be 1,000,000 years. Kaf Hakela. What's Kaf Hakela? Gemara Masechet Shabbat says, it's when there's angels of destruction fling the neshama from one end of the earth to the other end of the world and destroy it and beat it the whole time. Rabbi Akiva saw one of these people one time. Asked them, what's happening to you? He told them what's happening to him. Rabbi Akiva was able to help that neshama. Rabbi Yehuda Ftaya, Sefer Minchot Yehuda, talks about how he spoke to people that are in Kaf Hakela. And they told him what's happening to them while they're speaking to him. How they're being literally destroyed in ways that are beyond your comprehension. Was Rabbi Yehuda Ftaya a liar? Was Moshe Rabbeinu a liar? Avraham Avinu a liar? Zohar Kadosh is a liar? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is a liar? Rabbi Akiva is a liar? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a liar? Everybody's a liar except you! Everybody's a liar except the Erev Rav that told you there's no fear. Fear is a commandment from the Torah. Commandment from the Torah. If you don't fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're going to sin. You're going to go against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's fear against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Fear of punishment. Fear of punishment. What's fear of punishment? Punishment that you're going to go to Gehinnom. Punishment you can go to Kaf Hakela. Punishment that you get sick and die. Punishment that's much further than you can possibly comprehend. Punishment that makes the Holocaust look like kindergarten. To teach people about punishment is absolutely necessary. So to say Darkei Torah Darkei Noam, where you can't teach people about punishment and you lovey-dovey everybody, that's not Torah, Habibi. Not from David HaMelech, and not from anybody in Judaism. Not from anybody in Judaism. As far as Chazal has extensive sections of the Gemara to discuss different types of punishment. Gemara, Masechet Sanhedrin, Perek Chelek, has details of punishment, of death penalties. Which one? There's a debate between the Chachamim. Which death penalty is the worst one? Do you know that? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai argues against Rabbi Yehuda. Which death penalty is the worst one? Which one hurts the most? There's no respectfully disagree. There's no disagree. You're wrong. Your rabbi's wrong. You're clueless. Our Torah is real. Our Torah doesn't change. Our Torah, there's no machloket here. You look at the Chachamim, that's what they say. This entire section, the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, talks about which punishment is worse. Which one hurts more? There's a Gemara Masechet Makot. You know what Makot is? Makot is whipping. Why? For sins. There are entire sections of the Torah that talk about punishment. Why? Because punishment is necessary in order for God to be good and just. And that's why the Ramban, Nachmanides, in Shara Gmul, says in section 7, anyone that says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's sentence of punishment is limited to 12 months is a Rasha, because they have turned God into an evil God that punishes everyone the same. No such thing. The Arizal, in Shara Gilgulim, talks about different sentences of reincarnations. All of them are different forms of punishment. All of them are different forms of punishment. Gemara Masechet Psachim, first Perek, says Rabbi Yochanan, when he would teach him about punishment. He would teach them about reward and punishment. Everybody would come. They would do tshuva. But then there was not enough room. So you got a bigger space. There was not enough room. You got a different space. Not enough room. They had to give him a section outside of the Bet HaMikdash. Outside. Why? There's not enough space. So many tens of thousands of people showed up. To what? To hear about Gehinnom, to hear about punishment. What do you think? Rabban Yochanan came and told him, Hashem loves you no matter what. Lavi Davi. Hashem needs you. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is emet. And that's why every infant that starts to learn Torah, every child that starts to learn Torah, every adult that starts to learn Torah, learns about reward and punishment right off the bat. How? Adam HaRishon sinned, he got punished. Cain sinned, he got punished. The generation of Noach sinned, they got punished. Not to say, oh, but maybe you can say punishment, but not the way you say it, Rabbi. Not the way that I say it. Do you know any of the strong speakers of the people that changed Am Yisrael throughout the generations? Go look. Who are the ones that build communities? Like Rav Nissim Yagen, alav hashalom. Like Rav Shalom Shvadron, alav hashalom. Like the Ben Ish Chai, alav hashalom. Like Rav Ovadia Yosef, alav hashalom. Rav Elazar Shach, alav hashalom. Great Chachamim spoke in such a voice at times, make me look like a little puppy. Why? Because when you care, you express that you care. You care about yourself. So you are not going to do what I do. How do I know you care about yourself? Because all you care about is to express the opinion that's wrong in order to bring a point out that you think is correct. Now, if you were to measure what you do versus what I do for Klal Yisrael, you would not make such a comment. Why? Because what you do is you take care of yourself, perhaps you donate to one or two people, and that's it. I donate my whole life. I don't need to know what you do, but I can assure you that you and your rabbi would not survive one day in my life. Why? Because I donate my whole life to Klal Yisrael. My whole life. And it's not a matter of arrogance. It's not a matter of I'm better than you. It's a matter of what do the receipts say? Who's doing what?
I really liked the way that he presented things, and he was very, very honest, and also had like a personal, I would say, personal relationship with him. Because when I had questions, anything that was, bothering me, he would answer me, and he would be there for me. And before you get married, the Yitzhak always comes in, and I was going through a very difficult time. And at 3 a.m., he answered the phone, and he went through an hour from 3 to 4 a.m. No one knows about this. Very few people know actually about this. And Baruch HaShem, for an hour, he was telling me, to get married, and I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be happy as long as I have the right intention. L'shem Shamayim.
So I had needed guidance. After maybe a few months of watching Rabbi Reuven, I started asking questions about Shabbat and stuff like that, how to keep it and this and that. He says, "Are you Ashkenazi, Sephardi?" I said, "Sephardi." He says, "Go and buy Yaakov Yosef, the Shabbat edition." I went and bought it. Maybe like a week later, Rabbi Reuven texts me, and he says, "Do you want a chavruta to help you? Do you want to help you so you can go over, so you can, properly go over someone will guide you?" And he got me in touch with someone, amazing person, amazing guy. Once a week, every week, literally, I would study like Yosef before. I would talk to him, I would go over it, I would read it, and then I would jot down notes, and then once a week I would go over it with the chavruta. And I was doing this for maybe a year and a half with him, and it was amazing. And this just goes to show you that Rabbi Reuven really wants to help people, and he's not like the typical rabbi where he genuinely wants to make people better human beings, better people as a person. That's why I love his Mussar lectures. It really, there's tons of lectures on YouTube where you can go find any topic you want, but there's not so many rabbis that actually teach people to be better people.
At least, I'm sure for thousands of people, what he did for me, at 3 a.m. I don't know anyone who would just waste, with their time with a 21-year-old, and speak with me and really take the time to listen. We finished at 4 a.m. and was there along the way, and mamash, it's this was a tremendous act of Ahavat Yisrael, and especially that it's like nishma. Because sometimes someone gives you a lot of money, sometimes someone does good things to you, so you feel like you have a certain you owe him something. You have a certain debt of gratitude towards him. But when you see that there's nothing, it's just pure Ahavat Yisrael, then this is really beautiful, and this is how it's supposed to be.
When you wake up in the morning, what do? You go take care of yourself. When you go to sleep, what do you think about? You think about yourself. When you live during the day, what do? You think about yourself. All of the things that you do is for you. Am I making money out of this lecture? No. Am I making money out of any of this stuff? No. So, to go and tell me how to help Am Yisrael, at the very least, since you're not willing to sacrifice what I sacrifice, you have to show me your receipts. What are your results? How many people have you changed this week, this month, this lifetime, to go and abandon their wicked ways and come back to Hashem? To stop going against Hashem. How many people did you help? 1, 2, 5? Once we spoke to a rabbi in Canada. About 5, you say. 5 you helped? Habibi, what you do in a lifetime, I've done in a day. And yes, it is a competition. Why? Because you say your way is better. If your way is better, go! Do it! Why are you wasting your time talking to me? Why are you wasting time talking to me? Go help Am Yisrael. Stop talking to me. Go help Am Yisrael. Right now you have thousands of people watching my shiur online, and every single one of them is making a comment of how this shiur is affecting their life. People have transformed their life. Some have even changed their religion in order to come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a result of the shiurim that they watch. So if you're going to say that there's a better way, show me. someone that has better results than me? Show me one. You show me one? If it fits, I'll publicize him. If it fits for me to do it, I'll do it myself. But I can assure you, I follow in the footsteps of my Rav, who follows in the footsteps of his Rabbanim, who follow in the footsteps of all of the great sages throughout all of history until Moshe Rabbeinu. This is how the Magid Miduvna spoke. This is how the greatest speakers of Am Yisrael spoke. Go read some of the books of the Magid Miduvna. Not just what he wrote, but books that were written about him and how he spoke. Go read about Arav Shalom Shvadron. Not just about what he wrote, but how people spoke about him and how he lived his life. Go read about Arav Nisim Yagin. Go read about all of these great sages.
What worse, to kill a Jew or to drive Shabbat? What's worse, you think? No, to drive Shabbat is worse. I am rabbi. I'll prove to you. Hello? Who knows we have 10 commandments? You know we have 10 commandments? 10 commandments. What the sixth commandment? Sixth one. What the sixth one? Don't kill. Don't kill. What the fourth one? Fourth, not sixth. Don't drive Shabbat. By God, there is no difference, honey. A Nazi slaughter a Jew or drive Shabbat. The same 10 commandments. Don't fool yourself.
How they spoke to Am Yisrael. Go read about Moshe Rabbeinu. Find me one great tzaddik that actually changed the masses by speaking like the people that you think are doing better. Because we spoke to some of those people that you think are doing better, and when they told me their numbers, my colleague, who was friends with them, said, "How long are you doing Kiruv, Rabbi?" And the rabbi over there said he was doing Kiruv for 25 years. He says, "How many people have you helped do tshuva in those 25 years?" He said proudly, 10 people, maybe even 11. He said, "Rabbi, it's good. 10 people have changed their life. But if you look at the results that this aggressive Yaron Reuven is doing, following in the footsteps of the greatest Chachamim in history, he gets more in a week than you've done in 25 years. Oh, how can I help now?" So Habibi, if you want to criticize me personally, I'm too ugly, I'm too fat, I'm too loud, I'm too obnoxious, I'm too this, I'm too that, I care less. Say what you want. But if you want to criticize the Torah, David HaMelech, the sages, and say that they did something that's the opposite of what they actually did, or that what they did is wrong and no longer applicable to our generation, then I have to speak up. Why? I have to prove, for the sake of the public, that what you're saying is wrong. I don't know who you are, or what you do, and any of the results that you've gotten. All I know is a few things that you wrote here, some of them that I read, but I can tell you that you have been misled. Misled about how to help people change their life, misled about the sages, misled about the Torah, misled of how to teach Torah, misled about how we teach and what the results are. If you want to see some of the results, you could either follow the lectures, you could watch the podcast of people speaking for themselves, you could watch the letters and the comments that I made. You can see the results instead of take my word for it. But either way, before you speak in the name of David HaMelech or the sages or the Torah, at the very least, do yourself the service and learn it first. Don't just assume that Darkei Torah, Darkei Noam is what the local rabbi said in the drasha to make you feel good is really the pshat. Because it's not. There's a lot more to the Torah than just teaching nice things. The Torah is reward and punishment. It can't just be reward, it can't just be punishment. If you just reward your wife, eventually she'll leave you. If you just punish your wife, eventually she'll leave you. How do you get her to stay? Reward and punishment. Same thing with your kids, same thing with yourself, same thing with employees. It comes together. Reward and punishment is necessary. Now, if a person doesn't connect to me or the way that I speak, it doesn't make much of a difference to me. I'm not looking for fans or likes. But the moment that a person says that what we're saying is wrong, that's a different story, because that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. That's what the Chachamim have been teaching for generations. And if the Chachamim said it, it is right. Not it must be right, it is right. Why? Because these and these are the words of the living God. So, if you want to look at what the Chachamim have done and what have said, I suggest you educate yourself. Not from people, from books. Go read the books. Read. Magid Miduvna. Read. Rav Shvalom Spadron. Read. Rav Avigdor Miller. Read any of the great Chachamim from any part of Am Yisrael. Doesn't matter where. Hasidut, Sephardi, Ashkenazi. Read about the leaders. Read about how they lived their life and how they delivered the message. Surely everybody's righteous, everybody's good, but as far as how they delivered the message, how did they get people to change? How did they get people inspired? And you'll see that in fact, the message is exactly the same as what we're doing here. No different. In fact, if I was really being honest with you, I have to pick it up a notch and be even more than what I'm doing now. So Be'ezrat Hashem, you'll see this by seeing the lectures. You'll see this by reading the books. And you'll see exactly. Because those that spoke, spoke like this. Those that wrote, wrote even more than this. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we will continue to be able to follow in their footsteps. Thank you very much for learning with me. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless each and every single one of you, including the ones that want to disagree. The whole purpose of the answer was not to go against any one particular person per se, but rather to defend the honor of the Torah for what it is. It has nothing to do with me. Like me or dislike me does not make much of a difference. The key is to know what the Torah says and not necessarily what Yaron Reuven says. Whether Yaron Reuven lives or dies, Torah stays the same. The way the Torah has been transmitted from generation to generation is exactly like we're doing it. Somebody wants to do something else, by all means, everybody has a right to do something else, different shita, different things, whatever works for you, as long as it works. But don't think for a moment that your way is necessarily the way of the sages. You have to look at what the sages did. And you'll see, the more you learn about the sages, the more you learn about David HaMelech, the more you learn about Moshe Rabbeinu, the more you learn about the greatest people that ever led Am Yisrael, the more you'll see, wow, I guess it wasn't so different than what he's saying. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen v'Amen.